Hey y'all, it's Sarah and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I recently did another version of this video. Yes, I'm filming them all today. I did not have time to change, do all that sort of stuff. I recently filmed another video that was based on romance, and I also wanted to do it for romantasy and fantasy romance. I feel like this genre is really soaring to the top right now in people's minds, and I want to give my thoughts on the genre and also some ones that I'm looking forward to. Alright y'all, I'm going to start with my recommendations and then move on to my TBR. For a lot of these books, I actually haven't really looked at the synopsis for my TBR books, so that's going to be rapid fire. Y'all going to tell me which ones are the best, but I'm going to go off of the vibes that I've seen. So first off with my recommendations, I'm going to hit you 1, 2, 3 with the 3 series that I think are the best. And I know everybody has an opinion on this, but these are the 3 I think are the best. So first off is going to be the Crescent City series. I'm going to preface this by saying I have not yet read the 3rd book. That being said, Crescent City 1, House of Earth and Blood, is my favorite fantasy romance book of all time. Favorite of all time. It's so good. I think it is perfect. And I know a lot of people don't, but that's okay. I think it's perfect. So Crescent City is an urban fantasy that has any number of magical creatures, vampires, fae, werewolves, all that sort of stuff, set in a modern city. It's very, very cool. It has technology. It's by Sarah J. Maas. Y'all probably know that. But I think this, in terms of adult romantasy, is just like top tier. And for me, actually, I think compared to the next series I'll mention, this actually has less romance as the focus than some of the others. So if you're trying to dive into romantasy that specifically has a really, really good fantasy system, I think, or magic system, if you will, I think you're really going to like Crescent City. Second off, I think ACOTAR, A Court of Thorns and Roses, is also really good. The first book is not my personal favorite of the series. I actually like the last book the best. So if you've read the first one and you're stuck there, give the second one a try. That's just my recommendation. If you don't like it, that's okay, but I would give the second one a try. It definitely is a little more romance focused, but it still has a lot of fantasy. And then the 3rd one on my list, which I think is actually creeping to being my 2nd favorite series by this author, is Throne of Glass. This is a YA, we'll call it fantasy romance for the purpose of this video because there's romance. But it's a YA. It starts YA and then it moves, I would say, to new adult, just based on my experience as a librarian and all that. But Throne of Glass, YA fantasy, it has a lot of romance, but it is fantasy heavy. So if you're looking for like kings and castles and swords and magic and all that sort of stuff, I think you're going to get that a lot in Throne of Glass. And again, the first book is not everyone's like tip-top favorite, but I think as you work your way through the series, you're really gonna start to love it. And I absolutely love Throne of Glass. On my reread, I am just like enjoying it so much. Next up is another YA, and it is a fantasy or fantasy romance called The Never Heir. It is the first in the Otherworld series by Courtney Millicum. The 2nd book is The Game of Hearts, which just came out the other day. The Never Heir is a Peter Pan retelling. The Game of Hearts is an Alice in Wonderland retelling. They are connected, but it's going to be a trilogy, and y'all, this series is so good. It's kind of like swoony sweet YA, so if that's what you're looking for yourself or for a kid or a student, I think you're really going to love it. She does her retellings different than a lot of what I've seen, and I love the relationships that form in the stories. I love the fantasy aspect of the stories. I think these are really well done, and it's by an indie author. The covers are amazing, and she's a lovely human, so definitely check those out. Next one is another YA, and this is actually the series that got me back into reading as an adult, which is really cool. I didn't read a ton after I read this book, and then I thought about it for a while, and then I was like, wait, I need more of that. So I picked up Throne of Glass, and then I read all the Throne of Glass books, and then we spiraled down that pathway. But this is Incarnate by Joni Meadows. Joni is a sweet friend of mine, but I have all 3 of these books. They are hanging out right there on my shelf staring at me. They're beautiful. Beautiful. Let me pull you a cover. Hold on. Okay. Stunning. Butterflies, the color scheme, This is my kind of stuff, okay? Love it. I'm gonna read the description of this to you because she can explain it way better than I can. So this is a YA fantasy. I think the romance is integral to the book. When this book was written, I don't think we were doing like fantasy romance as a genre. This is 2012. It says, Anna is new for thousands of years in range. 1 million souls have been reincarnated over and over. When Anna was born, one of those souls vanished, and nobody knows why. When she travels to the capital city of Heart, its citizens treat her like a no-soul, suspicious and afraid of what her presence mean. Dragons attack the city. Is Anna to blame? So basically, she lives in this world where souls are just reincarnated over and over and over again. Oh, I didn't even realize she signed this. What a butterfly. Oh my gosh, how did I miss that? But yeah, 5,000 years, the same souls are reincarnated over and over again. Anna is born and she is a new soul. A soul is missing. No one knows how she came to be, and they think everything is her fault. It is a trilogy. It's not super, super long in terms of pages, so if that's more approachable to you, then that's awesome too. But I read each of these books in like a day. I remember I got the book from the library. It was on a local author's display. Jody and I lived in the same county at the time, and it was a local author's display. And I saw this cover. I was like, oh my gosh, this is beautiful. I have no idea what's happening. I pulled it. I went to the lake for a weekend. I sat on the patio and I read it in one sitting. And the rest was history. Here we are. Next up is going to be The Bridge Kingdom by Daniel Jensen. I don't have a copy of these. I need to get new copies of these. I want to reread them. There's 2 in like the first duology, and then there's 2 in the next duology. I don't know how many she's going to do, but I've only read the first 2. Action right off the bat, okay? If you are someone who's like, I feel like this book starts slow, or I'm having trouble getting into it, The Bridge Kingdom will scoop you up instantly. And based on the name of the story, Bridge Kingdom, it is quite literally a set of islands stuck together by a bridge. It's very political. So if you're looking for like political fantasy, scheming, like that level of using your brain, if you will, I absolutely love that. And I wasn't expecting it. You know, I wasn't expecting it going into it. And I absolutely loved that. It was like, I don't know, it was different. So I really enjoyed them. I want to reread them and then jump into 3 and 4. And then last recommendation is Serpent in the Wings of Night, and it's sequel. I almost forgot the word sequel. Ashes on the Starker's King. No, I have not read the 2 novellas that go with it. I need to immediately. But I famously, don't take me too seriously, famously read both of these books on my honeymoon. I read them over the span of 3 days, both of them. Okay. Just sitting on the beach and enjoying our lives. And I remember I downloaded the first one. I had it on my Kindle. I was reading. I'm like, oh my gosh, same thing. Hits you right off the bat. So, so good. And then I got to the end and I looked at my husband. I'm like, I need to go back to the room and like get on the Wi-Fi and buy the next one. Like, I was dedicated. Okay. They are adult romantasy, new adult romantasy, about vampires. And y'all, these vampires, they do not mess around. It's good. And it's very addicting, obviously. I think there's a lot of like grit to the world. There's twists and turns. Both the main characters are really cool. The side characters are really cool. The female main character relationship with her dad is very interesting. So there's a lot to them. That's going to be my last recommendation. Now on to the TBR. Like I said before, I don't often look up synopses of books that I put on my TBR. I look up synopses of books I want to buy, but not on my TBR. So these are going to be rapid fire. I'm going to give you the vibes that I know about them, but do not expect a full synopsis. Okay, first one is Throne of the Fallen by Carrie Maniscalco. This is the same author and same world, I believe, as Kingdom of the Wicked. I've heard this is the best of all of them. It's new adult. It's a little spicy. The cover has the most like lush, beautiful pastel-y colors on it. Yeah, all I know is that it is about like a demon or a devil and spice. So there's that. Next on the list is The Saltwater Air. This is an indie book. All I know is the original cover has this girl with like beautiful luscious hair. I believe it's a duology. Other than that, I know nothing. My friend Rosie has read these and said they're amazing, but listen, I couldn't tell you a lick of what these books are about. Saltwater Air, it's on my Kindle, it's ready to go. Okay, next on my list is Spark of the Everflame. Same deal here. I know there's 3 books out. There's going to be a 4th one. These are very well loved. Highly recommended from my friend Aleshka. I feel like I read the synopsis of this in like a Kindle or a Kindle Unlimited TBR. I don't remember anything. I just know there are 4 books. They're very long and they are romanticy. So that's what I do, right? That's what I'm here for. Next one is Trial of the Sun Queen. I saw this book the first time because it was on the Goodreads romanticy list. And I love that for this author because I would not have heard of this book otherwise. Now I follow her on Threads. She posts a lot of really interesting stuff from the industry that I love to read. I can't wait to read this book. I know there's a sequel. I don't know if it's going to be a duology or more, but I'm super, super excited for it. And now I've seen a lot of people reading it, so that's really cool. So I'll have to chat with those of y'all who read this about Trial of the Sun Queen. Next one on the list I got an arc of, and that is The Honey Witch. And this one I've been told is like cozy beekeeping, like happy. I believe it centers 2 female main characters, romance, just love, and I'm here for that. So yes, it is a queer, cozy fantasy romance. The cover is stunning. And again, that's The Honey Witch. So super excited for that. List is The Scarlet Veil, which I believe is also vampires, and it's by the author of Serpent and Dove. I think it's in the same world, but my friend Lauren said you didn't need to read that series to read this one, and I'm more interested in the vampire situation. So it's The Scarlet Veil. I know it has red on the cover. Other than that, couldn't tell you nothing. And then the last one, which I'm very excited about, is Daughter of No Worlds, which is by Carissa Broadbent, who, if I didn't mention, also wrote The Serpent and the Wings of Night. This is a 3-book series so far. I don't know if it's like ending as a trilogy or if it's continuing, but 3 books out there by an author who I love that I haven't read yet. So Daughter of No Worlds, I don't know what it's about. I've heard it's similar to Throne of Glass. But I'm super excited for this because I know I love everything that I've read by her so far, like top tier. So I'm super excited for both of these. With that is the end of my romanticy TBR recommendations video. I hope you guys found something enjoyable on here that you either want to read, love to read, or want to talk about. If so, comment down below. Don't forget to subscribe. Check my links down below for my editing, my books, the books I talked about today, and my social media. Have a great day, y'all. Bye.